FrightFest, day 4. How's it going? Is it good? Hey, about half of you good. I guess that means the rest of you are bad, wicked, or possibly deranged. I approve.
Now, this next person knows who he is. Taking your shoes and socks off during the film is not acceptable.
So no shoes and socks, but what about pants?
Well, actually, Jason Isaac a couple of years ago dropped his trousers famously, and just as well he washed his pants.
All right, so you hear that? We can take our pants off here. This is like church on a Sunday morning, right? It's good. We're here for Mass, for God's Day. And that's it.
Are you repenting for your sins of last night?
Oh, yeah. Many of you, I'm sure I saw just a couple hours ago at the Phoenix.
Every year I stand on this stage and tell you that I have an absolute favourite movie. This year I just love Dark Tourist.
I'm delighted to have the director, Sora Kashama, here, and my absolute favourite TV star, Officer John Cooper from Southland.
Hear me?
Yes.
You first?
I can hear you.
Me first?
You first.
I want to say a huge thank you to Mike for coming over from Los Angeles. He literally arrived here this morning.
I was sent the script in the sort of traditional way through. I mean, it landed on my inbox. I fell in love with it immediately, but it wasn't really that pulled me in. What it was the conversation that followed the following morning with Frank John Hughes, the writer. And I realised quickly, the conversation was 3 hours long, anyway. But I realised quickly.
Most conversations with Frank are 3 hours long.
They do tend to be, if you know Frank, yeah. But I was in London, he was in LA. Actually, I paid for the call.
Did you? You should have Skyped.
So, yeah, so, yeah.
I mean, grief tourism is a very weird sort of...
It is, and it takes on its many different levels. We were all grief tourists to some degree.
The Tower of London. Yay! Take my picture. Not good shit going on there, and we all do it, you know. And I take it all the way down to putting your hands in Grauman's Chinese Theater in the dead movie stars' handprints.
Okay, really? In the dead stars' hand? I mean, when you really start to dissect it, it falls apart, you know.
That's not grief tourism.
No, but it's connected to those things like fascination with going to Graceland. Most people, when you visit Ground Zero, you're not going to, oh, cool, let's go see where the towers came down. You're paying homage. It's a respect thing. That's where I think the turn is with Jim. It's most people don't go for the same reasons. Most people are not retracing the steps of a serial killer. But there's an element of the grief tourism, in everybody.
We have a TV series in America called Holliston, Holliston is my favorite thing out of everything I've ever done. It is so fun to do. I mean, it's like doing theater. The fact that you get up in front of an audience and perform like that is just, it's amazing. And to take horror icons like John Landis and Tony Todd and Kane Hodder and Daniel Harris and have them doing comedy in a sitcom with a laugh track and the whole thing, they never thought in a million years they would ever get to do something like that, and they're great at it.
We had no idea if it would work, but lo and behold, the morning after our second episode had aired on television, we had a second season order. And so the second season just finished in America. It's coming here soon.
On Sunday, that'll be the first time that a UK audience gets to actually see any of it. And don't tell anybody, but I'm actually more excited about that than Hatchet 3. But
this is your debut feature after you've directed several shorts. How did it come about?
I, found myself at 2 a.m. in my pajamas watching my third back-to-back conspiracy film off the internet and just realizing I, had developed a problem. So the light bulb just went off at one point, and I just realized how interesting the people are that believe the conspiracy theories and also the theories themselves. Some of them are ludicrous and hilarious. It's just this sort of mishmash of sort of forbidden truths and lunacy all at once. I wanted to recreate that feeling for the audience, watching the film.
That feeling of sitting in your pants at 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
staring at the internet, not knowing what's real and what isn't.
Exactly, that should be on our poster, if you want to feel this.
It seems that you modeled the Tarsus group mainly on the Bilderberg group.
I based it partially on the Bilderberg group, but also partially on this group called the Bohemian Club. The Bush family are members, Nixon was in it, Reagan was in it. They really do meet once a year and they perform a pagan ritual in the woods. And there's a giant owl and they light this body on fire in effigy, and it's all quite creepy and weird. Freemasons, Bohemian Club, any of these sort of secret groups that actually do exist in the world I find fascinating.
You did set the film up as a mockumentary. as opposed to a found footage or a straight kind of fictional narrative.
I definitely wanted to blur the line so that, you didn't think it was real, but after you watch the film, you wanted to go online or do some research or to figure out, is the Tarsus Club real? Is that person real? Is Mithraism real? The Tarsus website, we set that up well before the film. And since the film opened in the US, we've been averaging about 30 emails a day to that website of people who think it's real.
Can I join?
Yeah, well, I'll show you the handshake later.
This is the 666 Shortcuts to Hell competition. And we had 157 entries to this, and there were some sensational bits and pieces in there. Drum roll. Okay,
we need a drum roll.
The winner is, and Emily's just found out 1 minute ago.
And the winner of the 666 Shortcuts to Hell competition is the 6 feet under the
It's about a girl that falls in love with a dead body. That's it. That's it.
And this is the real chair, because that's pretend.
It just feels great. It's an amazing cinema. It sounded really good. It looked quite good. I think, yeah, it's well, everything I would hope for, really, in the future. I hope someday I will have another film here. That would be great.
Please join me now in welcoming director Jeremy Lovering to the stage to introduce In Fear.
It's about two people who don't know each other longer than 2 weeks. They go away together, and it's about whether the trust can be built or whether it's eroded.
The movie's about 3 people who get very lost and very frightened in Ireland, and I don't know if that's the most terrifying thing about it.
Alan, how did you feel to play a diabolical representation?
Really nice.
Thematically, it's about fear as a state of being and how that leads possibly inevitably to violence.
Alan actually, his job during rehearsal was to sit at cafes across the street and watch us. That was your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still do it sometimes.
Yeah.
The way we filmed it was I didn't give the actors a script and I didn't tell them the story, so much of it is about them not knowing what's coming next.
We wanted to make something that did find these horror beats, but came from a very a place that was very human.
I have an insight which I'm aiming for, but how the actors get there, I have to let them find their own way.
As a kid, I used to find comfort in going in, I'd walk into a forest and sleep through the night. Deliverance.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
You guys didn't know that when you signed up to work with him, did you?
No.
We genuinely love him so much. He was really kind as well, which maybe is a bit creepy, like that he managed to be so.
Well, he's pretty sadistic, let's be honest.
Kind
He
at
terrified
the same
3
time.
people.
Big thank you to FrightFest. It's incredibly exciting to be here. It's a chance to see the film myself on this big and iconic and sadly soon to be dismantled screen.
You can play on TV. Yes, you can get a similar experience watching it on your own in your house. But I think for me, I wanted to do something which primarily works in the cinema.
I'd love to take a pass. I hear you can do a weekend pass and just have the bejesus scared out of me every day.
We've had the misfortune of not being able to see anything but our own film. I'm just working a lot at the moment.
Maybe we could nip out and go into something else.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeremy would hate us.
Our learned colleague behind the camera would like to know if you can tell us anything about Sherlock.
Yeah, he's actually being played by a woman. So there we go. It's all changed.
Director of I Spit on Your Grave 2, Stephen R. Munro, and the star of the film, Gemma Dallander.
Hi.
What can audiences expect from the film?
They can expect to be disturbed, that's for sure. It is more intense than the remake, so they have that to look forward to if that's what they're going to be looking forward to.
How did you kind of try and differentiate this from the...
Well,
first film?
not much. Visually, I kept it very similar. Story-wise, we kept it similar because it is... Technically, it's only part 2. I feel that franchises should have a similar visual style to it throughout. It would be like, watching the Bourne movies and then all of a sudden everything's done on static camera.
Are you a horror fan yourself? Are those the films you enjoy? Or
now.
I enjoy any film that's thought-provoking, and so if it happens to be a horror film, then yes.
And how was it working with Stephen?
That sucked.
No, it didn't. Don't be silly.
What was it that drew you to this film in particular?
Well,
working with Steven, first of all. I knew him before we met, and I met him. I read the script. I read the script. You said 20.
No, it's only 10.
All right.
That's my per diem.
Enjoyed working with you, Stephen.
And I'll probably get in trouble for laughing because then people will go, "Oh, he thinks it's funny." But when you're so close to it, like we were, and you go through it, Yeah. Gemma could probably go, "Oh," and after that one rape scene, and we can remember something and smile, and then everyone takes it as the wrong way. I've gotten in trouble before. People going, "Oh, the director must have thought that was funny that happened to that actor." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's you're in such an intense situation with people that you grow very close to for such a long time. It's like a family, you know. So that's why we laugh sometimes.
Yeah.